So summer's here, right? Who's been traveling? Anybody? Yeah? Y'all know I've been traveling, but I'm home for a while, so that is good. All right, so sunscreen, important if you're into some sunscreen. I know some people are not. One of the most recent trips used some expired sunscreen. By the way, that doesn't work. That is not like canned goods. All right, my nose got baked. Turns out a lot of people's noses got baked. And I was like, well, all right, so there is something that actually does expire outside of us, of course, in the flesh. It's not canned goods, it is actually sunscreen. So the days are longer, and I remember being a kid, you know, if we flash back, I know for some of us, that was a while ago, right? But do you remember how the days were just different? Like they were longer. Like summer, I know for me, I tried to treat the school year like summer. They usually had to come find me in the woods to drag me to class. But the reality was summer just seemed to last forever. And I heard recently that they've actually shortened summers over the years for kids. And I'm like, man, what about these kids? They need to run around outside. Where do you think broken arms happen? You know, from climbing trees. Well, you don't see kids with broken arms anymore because I think hey, that's a serious thing. You don't. They're inside right here. They ain't breaking thumbs, that's for sure. Well, we're starting a summer series, and this summer series is going to be kind of summer related, but what we like to do here at Seven Creeks Church is real life application. We like to take God's word and then apply it to our lives and say, hey, I can relate to that. I can walk away with something and I can take it and say, yes, I can do that this week. Now, whether we choose to do that this week or not is something else. But if you think about summer, do you think your schedule gets easier? I mean, you load up, you know, the calendar during the winter through all the events and holidays, and if you've got kids, you know, or grandkids, and you're doing school events, well, summer seems to be a place you take a break. But how long does it take for us to jam-pack that calendar? Mine's been pretty busy. We do that. We jam up our calendars. And you know what we think, what we're going to discover over this series is that we're going to be chasing something to find rest. Like, hey, I got to get to the beach. For me, I just can't wait to go fishing to find some rest. Well, if you want to just get the short version of this morning, rest is not a place. It's a person, and it's a capital R, and his name is Jesus. That rest is actually found in Jesus. We think we find it, but you know what? I'm going to take my baggage with me, is what we're going to look at today. We're going to see that wherever you go, there you are. I mean, that's the reality, right? And that baggage doesn't come in a suitcase. Now, speaking of suitcases, I don't know, I can say that this is one thing I don't think I do. I don't check bags. I just don't check a bag because I've had bags lost, and then the next thing you know, you're at the Dollar General looking for underwear. Right? So that's just the reality. It's like, I'm not checking a bag. It's just the way it is. I'm just going to live in 4 outfits, and if we're gone for 2 weeks, it is what it is. But are you the one that plans to pack and gets it all packed away tightly in say you're checking a bag, and it's all ready to go 2 weeks in advance? Who's that? It's okay. You can raise your hand. Yeah, I know. By the way, I know most of y'all pretty well. So, yeah. All right, so who is it like? Who's 5 minutes out? Okay, let's not do 5 minutes, okay? Let's do night before packing. Yeah, okay, well, all right, that explains a lot. All right, now it makes sense, yeah. Okay, so night before packing, I'm guilty of packing ahead of time, and then, what did I pack? Right? It's like, what did I pack? Then, you know what I gotta do? I gotta unpack everything. Well, okay, so you're checking a bag, and you go up to, y'all know where this is going. You go up, you're at the counter, whatever airline, doesn't matter. Y'all know the limit. It's 50 pounds. I think it's 50. I don't check a bag, so I don't know. But it's 50, right? All right. If it hasn't been you, you know you've seen it. That bag, you're watching it tick. 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 50. Anxiety. By the way, remember that anxiety that we were trying to escape? It's now with us at the airport, minus TSA and everything that comes after that. So that bag, what happens to it? We're opening up our baggage in front of complete strangers. And you got to be careful with what's in your bag. Like, you go, well, I need to pack that under everything else just in case I have to open this. But, you know, you've seen them, and they're just sitting there like, here, put this in your bag. Put this in your bag. Put this in your carry-on. I'm like, my carry-on's packed. It has no room. I use a vacuum bag. It's like with the pump thingy, It's like I'm getting everything in this sucker and I may walk like this, but you know what? It ain't getting checked. It is not getting checked. And they don't care if that weighs 50 pounds. I could just say that's part of my body, part of my person. So that's where we're at. We actually experience this. It's the overpacked suitcase. What do you do with that? Well, you unload it in front of others. So either everybody's been in it, they've seen it or whatever. We're all carrying extra weight. I've been carrying this bag on all these trips, and it's weighed different things throughout this journey over the last month. I had this backpack and I've had it with different clothing types, different, because I'm going to different places, and this bag's been going with me. And I wear it a lot. Now that's a physical bag. We're going to look at a spiritual bag today. And I don't say bag because you know what, guys? We got luggage. We have spiritual luggage, spiritual baggage that we are carrying with us. And I don't care if you go to the ends of the earth. I don't care if you're in the most beautiful place in the world. You might experience a little bit of rest and sense of the world's version. But guess what? As time starts ticking, even if you found 5 days of complete rest, I'll call it lowercase r, you're coming home to something because your anxiety starts to build back up about something, or probably some things. And that's what Jesus is going to kind of talk to us about to us today. We're all carrying extra weight, and it does cost us. And you know what? Summer's awesome. No doubt about it. It's outside of the Christmas season. It's probably my favorite time because the days are longer and I feel like I can get more things done. If you want to go visit California, if that's on your agenda, the sun comes up at like 5:50 a.m. and that's just wild to me. Yeah, the days seem very long there as well. But summer, the days are long. We're looking at Matthew chapter 11, verses 28 through 30. If you got a Bible, you can open up to there. If not, we're going to throw it on the screen. It says this: "Come to me, all who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and lowly in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." Now this is Jesus, and to put it just a tiny bit of context there, the disciples, man, they've been working. They have been serving. They've been doing a lot of stuff, and they're tired. And he says, you know where you're going to find rest? Just come away. We're going to escape. Now we've taken that and we've turned it into, I've got to go here physically. There's a physical movement, but there's a spiritual posture, a heart posture that takes place where we look at the Lord and we say, Lord, I'm bringing this to you. I'm stirred up with angst. I got anxiety. I've got this burden. I've got this thing about me. I just don't know what to do about it. I've got this unconfessed sin that's going on in my life. Well, help me, Lord. And he's like, man, come to me. He didn't say, I want you to go over there. He says, come to me. He's like, I'm waiting right here for you. I don't need you to go to the Virgin Islands. It'd be cool if he called me to go do that, though. I mean, I'd go, right? And say, all right, cool. I'll meet you right here in the blue water on a sailboat. That would be fantastic. But he says, come to me. And he says, man, you could do that anywhere. You could do that right here, right now. So let's look at this point one. You can't outrun your baggage. This is how Jesus addresses the crowd. He says, come to me, all who labor and are heavy laden. There's a lot of Greek in here. We'll go through a couple of the words. If you look at that original Greek language that it was written in, the word kopiaho is, it doesn't just mean like standard daily work. It actually means to labor to the point of exhaustion or depletion and weariness. It's like, he's like, man, come to me because you're done. You're worn out. And he wants us to say, hey, you can go do that thing. Not that there's anything in enjoying God's creation. That's all great. And I'm not trying to cancel summer on y'all, I promise. But he's like, come to me. Come to me and find that rest. It's the feeling of having absolutely nothing left in the tank. We've been there, right? Maybe some of us are there right now. There's just nothing left in the tank. I feel like I experience that more as I get older, and maybe that's just an endurance thing. I don't know, but I just kind of feel like, have you had a 60-hour work week? Did you feel accomplished after a 60-hour work week? Man, that was really great. And the rest, all you want to do is stay awake and escape? or just find rest in the one that provides soul rest, and that is Jesus himself. He talks about this heavy laden. This is fortizo, this word. It's a passive verb. It means is a burden that has been dumped or loaded onto you. Now, I know some of y'all might be thinking, yeah, he dumped a burden on me, or they dumped a burden on me. But this is something that's been put upon you, not necessarily through personal action. I like to think that I was like, man, I feel like I create all my burdens. I'm like, man, Lord, why do I keep doing the things I do that I shouldn't do? And he's like, hey, Paul talks about that. I'm like, well, why do I keep doing it? Paul's like, well, this is why. He goes, I did it too. Where do we find ourselves? We keep coming back to something, this passive verb that dumped or loaded onto you by outside forces. Now, some are burden carriers. I like to think some are overburden carriers. It's like, oh, there's a burden in the room. I'll go carry that. I think there is a spiritual fellowship that takes place in carrying burdens, but some of us look for them. And it's like, let me go to that person. I don't even know them, but I would like to carry that with you. Now, that could be amazing and witness of Jesus to them, but don't make it like a hobby. Use it as a spiritual gifting that the Lord has blessed you with to say, I want you to carry burdens because it brings him glory, not because you get some type of acknowledgement. So that's just a small rabbit trail. Jesus is reminding us, I think, that vacation is a location, rest is a condition of the soul. Jesus is not a location. He is a person. And a personal relationship with Jesus exposes that doesn't matter where you go, I'm still there. My brokenness follows me. It may feel paused for a moment because there's a realm of escape, but the reality is I'm still there. And so is Jesus. Doesn't matter where I go, he's still there, and so am I. He says, come to me and find rest. This word rest, anaposis, literally means intermission or a deep refreshment that recreates you. Let me just say that again. Like, think of this for a second. Intermission or a deep refreshment that recreates you. It's actually where we get the English word recreation. He's not offering a temporary escape here. He's like, I want to recreate your heart. Like, you are a new creation if you have a relationship with Jesus. If you want to know more about that, come talk to me. A new creation. He's like, hey, dump that baggage at the cross. Man, we don't have to carry that anymore. You don't have to have a sweaty back from carrying it all day long. You don't have to have a heart that's just broken over it in the sense of just shame and guilt. He's like, come to me and find this rest. Listen to what Psalm 55:22 says. It says, cast your burden on the Lord and he will sustain you. He will never permit the righteous to be moved. He doesn't say, Jerry, I want you to cast your burden upon me and fishing will sustain you. Or time with friends will sustain you. Not that any of those things are bad, right? But he's saying, guys, I want to be the first thing on your agenda. I want to be right here, right now, because I'm the only one. He's the only one. There's not enough TV. There's not enough Netflix, not enough video games. There's not enough drugs. There's not enough alcohol. There's not enough sex. There's not enough anything that can take it. Only Jesus says, drop that off. Now, where do I find myself? I'm right here, right? And I'm like, here you go, Jesus. And he grabs this. Wait, Larry, grab the side of that. I kind of don't want to let go of it. Right? I have my special little friend. It's my special little pet. And he's like, I want to kill that off in your life. Drop it off at the cross and let it go. There's this word, when he says cast, it actually means shellac. Who all knows what shellac means? I mean, we know what shellac means. We'll talk about yoke too. We know what that means. It literally means to hurl or throw away violently. Now, I'm not going to do that with my bags, get stuff in. But still, but that internal baggage, it's like, it's like run to the cross. You've heard this, run to the cross. Come to the cross and drop off your baggage. And it's like, man, you know what? I'm just going to chunk it. I'm going to throw it violently at the foot of the cross because Jesus violently died for me. For my sin. That wasn't a passive death. It was violent. And he's like, I want that out of your life just as much as you do. Bring it to me. And guess what? You will find rest. So, shellac. This is actually the same word that they used Joseph's brothers threw him into the pit, if you remember that story. We're not supposed to politely hand God our baggage. It's like, pardon me, Lord, would you mind taking this? This is not a flight attendant. It's not a barmaid. It's not somebody that's waiting. It's like, no, give it to him. Heave it onto him. Because by the way, he can handle it. We oftentimes think, well, Lord, you just can't handle this part of my life. And he goes, have you even allowed me to step into it? He's like, he's going to ask questions. That's what he does. He did it when he was walking the earth. He's going to ask you questions. He asked me questions anyway. So how do we apply this? There's an application here of name the weight before you go to bed tonight. Before you go to bed, write down, the top 3 things making your soul heavy laden on a sticky note. Then physically throw it in the trash as a symbol of shellac, casting it to God. Y'all can ask me. Basically, I'm in a room of accountability right now. So ask me, hey, Jerry, you been writing stuff on that Post-it note? Because I guarantee you today, or I had things this morning that I could have wrote on that sticky note before I even got here. Audit your escape routes. I know some of you guys are accountants in the room. You're like, oh, audit, And some of y'all are like, what, audit? Yeah, it catches you a different way. Notice what you run to when you are exhausted, scrolling, shopping, that extra glass of wine. Recognize that those are just temporary vacations and not soul rest. By the way, I wrote my stuff. Maybe some of y'all are like, okay, I can relate to that. Because this is what we do. We go somewhere else to find rest when he's like, no, that's a lowercase r. That's just going to turn in to more of this. He goes, come to the capital R, Jesus, the one who provides that soul rest. Point 2, you can't outwork your burnout. And I'll tell you what, he offers an exchange that sounds a little weird at first. He says, take my yoke upon you, for my yoke is easy and my burden is light. That sounds kind of strange. You've heard it before. You guys know what a yoke is. It is this thing, this wooden piece that goes around oxen or, livestock animals to do work. Well, you may not know this, but yokes were actually custom made to the livestock that were going to be used to work. They weren't just like one size fit all. They weren't a Richardson, 119 cap or 112, whatever, that just snaps and it all fits, So they actually were custom made by the carpenter to fit. And it was heavy. It was heavy, but it was also this mechanism to direct the working animal a certain direction, but it was still really heavy. Now, check this out. The religious leaders, because they were a good time, they had placed a massive, I guess you could say, set of yokes or a yoke over the people. There was performance, there's legalism. See if any of these sound familiar to today. Performance and legalism on the people. Does that happen today? All day long. Throw your phone in the pool. I don't know, and it's waterproof now, so I don't even know. But we do. We go back to that thing, right? Yeah, they had to check. It's wild. I'll tell you how many in just a minute. Jesus says, I have a different kind of yoke. This yoke that they had, he goes, mine's different. Now, Jesus is real great about being different, isn't he? Because he was, and he is. He's very different than what they were experiencing. When you're yoked to Jesus, it means you're walking in step with him. He's not whipping you from behind. I know you feel like that sometimes. He's not doing that. He's like, no, I'm different. He goes, that's the enemy. That's the world. That's the things that we're chasing that are whipping us from behind. He's doing the heavy lifting for us if we let him, if we let go of that bag. He's like, I'm here to lift that. He goes, I can do things you can't do. I did things on the cross that no one else could. By the way, he rose from the dead too. And that is what it's all about. He uses this phrase, my yoke is easy. In the Greek, that word easy, krestos, it actually means well-fitting, kind, or tailor-made. Like his yoke is different for me than it is each of you. He's like, I've actually tailored it to you, to the way you are created in my image, is what he's saying. He goes, I've created you a certain way, and the yoke is custom for you. It's not a one size fit all. It is only for you. If you have a personal relationship with Jesus, that's what it's about. It's yours. It's no one else's. You get to come to him and find this rest. Now, we've got a lifestyle that the world is forcing on us almost daily. By the way, it doesn't fit. It doesn't fit. Have you ever noticed that? Anybody take clothes back? I know you guys don't. It's like, it doesn't fit. Well, you know what I'll do? I'm going to start going to the gym and then it'll fit. Well, it's still hanging on the closet with a tag, you know? And like returning to Amazon used to be easy, right? Now it's just like, wait a second, I got to do this and I got to go to the store. I got to go. Nah. I mean, how many people have stuff sitting in their office they need to return to Amazon, you know? Doesn't fit. The world presents a lifestyle that doesn't fit. Might be fun, might be relaxing. I don't know, it feels like I'm canceling summer up here, doesn't it? But I'm not. I want you guys to find rest in the beauty of summer, and that rest is in Jesus. We have to stop carrying our lives on our own strength. We do that because, you know, you could be self-made. You know, you've done all these accomplishments in your world, and it's like, yeah, this is all because of me and what I've done. And the reality is, it's like, well, man, if that's what it's about, what about the life to come? Because if it's all about now, what about eternity? Take the measurement test. Take your good works test. Have I outdone and done enough good to outweigh the sin in my life? Not a chance. That's where Jesus comes in and does what the work on the cross has done for us. Check out this Galatians chapter 5, verse 1. It says, "For freedom Christ has set us free. Stand firm, therefore, and do not submit again to the yoke of slavery." There's that word again. He equates the wrong yoke directly to slavery. There's this thing. So the Pharisees, everything, they had over 600 distinct laws for people to follow. Now, I know we got a lot of laws, but think about that. Like, this is what you've got to do. If you don't do this, you're doing it wrong. 600, it's like 613 or something, but it's like, think about that. 600, like, you have to do this. And Jesus flips the script on it. Once again, he says, this isn't about that. This is about grace. This is about chasing after him, following him, walking with him, and experiencing this rest. So how do we apply this? The no practice. Remember, I know a lot of y'all. This week, say no to one worldly expectation, commitment. I just hit a nerve. That is chafing your neck and causing you anxiety. It's okay to have a little margin in your schedule. I assure you of that. Now, I get accused of that. You know, it's like, hey, you need to create some margin. And I'm like, yeah, but who's going to do it? Who's going to do that? We've got to be able to say no to a few things. And check your motivations. Ask yourself whether you are serving your family, your boss, or your church out of a desire to earn love, the heavy yoke, that's that earning, or out of a response to already being loved. That's the easy yoke. Because you are loved by the creator of the universe so much that he would die for you on the cross. Man, that's a good trade. That's a good trade. Point 3, you can't outsource your rest. Jesus does not offer this worldly destination. There's the Greek word learned from me actually is menthano, which actually is the root word for disciple. I know that's weird, but that is it. It's not about sitting in a classroom or completing a course. Not that education is bad, but it's not about sitting there. It's actually by regular practice, habit, and imitation. Imitate me as I imitate Christ, is what we read in the Bible. Jesus is like, just do what I'm doing. He says, do this. And he doesn't overwhelm us with instruction. If you need to be overwhelmed with that, there's some Old Testament stuff where you could go read. And you'd be like, I don't feel like I do anything right. Well, that's correct. But still, the reality is he's like, I want to present this by imitating me. Do what I do. Love others as I have loved you. So that starts again with that personal relationship. And it's time in the Word, it's prayer, it's worship, it's fellowship. And if we look at what Jesus did while he walked this earth, he walked with people. And some of y'all might be thinking, well, he just didn't have a car or stagecoach or anything like that. He walked with folks. He walked with his people. He walked with strangers. He met strangers. Well, nobody's a stranger to Jesus, but he met them one-on-one. Woman at the well, great one. He sat there and waited for her to show up. Come to me, is what he says. You can't outsource your rest. So you think about Jesus being a teacher. This is how we can trust him. He says, I am gentle and lowly in heart. Now, there's a Greek word, praeus, in there. In the ancient culture, that word was used to describe like a wild stallion, okay? So you break a horse. A horse is very powerful and strong, right? Stronger than me, stronger than anybody else here, right? But it's a powerful animal. When they're broke, they go through a process of being wild, and there's green broke, and there's broke, and there's just phases and such. But does that take away from the strength from the horse? No way. Not a chance. The horse is still powerful, but it's gentle. Might bite you every once in a while, but Jesus doesn't bite you. Right? It's still power. It's the same horse. It's just now gentle and strong. That's what Jesus is getting at. He goes, I can handle it. And you know what? I'm not going to sit here and judge you for it. I want you to bring it to me because I already know about it. Drop it off and leave it at the foot of the cross. And I'm like, can you just hang on to it for a little while? I might come back for it. And he goes, I'm aware. I'd like for him just to take him and like kick him somewhere else, throw it in the fire, but kind of like that Post-it note. We're going to write stuff on the Post-it note. You know what we're going to do? We're throw it in the trash. Actually, burn it. Because you know what we do? We'll go dig it out of the trash. We will. You're like, what was that to-do list again? That was my burden list. Yeah, well, I've turned it into a to-do list. This is how my day's going to go. So again, this lowly word, it means that Jesus is accessible to everyone. And it's simply by having a relationship with him. There's some additional scripture out of Mark chapter 6, verse 31. And Jesus, he said to them, come away by yourselves to a desolate place and rest a while. For many were coming and going, and they had no leisure even to eat. He said, right, man, he's talking to his disciples after a massive, major event, where they were just, think of an exhausting ministry trip, and they're worn out. And he said, hey, that's the same word that's found in Matthew chapter 11. It's like, find rest. He modeled this apprenticeship that was taking place. He said, come with me, find rest. You're not going to find you're not going to find this type of rest anywhere else, not in this world. It is absolutely not possible. So how do we apply that? The 15-minute unplug. I know this one's going to be a challenge, guys. Give Jesus the first 15 minutes of your morning before you touch your phone. Now, some of y'all might be like, well, I don't even know where my phone is. You know what? Stay that way. But let him tame your wild, anxious thoughts. This is me, guys. Thoughts just go wild, which is exactly what this praise or gentleness is all about. 15 minutes. I bet you'll extend that to 30, maybe even 45, maybe even an hour. Man, it's like, man, if I'm truly walking with Jesus in this apprenticeship and walking with him, what would an hour with the creator of the universe look like? 1 day a week or 7 days a week for an hour. That's giving him 7 hours a week, not including Sunday morning here, just by the way. You're like, well, I got one. I guess we can start there. But this is about you and your relationship with Jesus, you and your time to find rest. Proximity check. Find a rest buddy. I know it doesn't sound like Jerry. Or buddies for the summer. Someone you can text once a week to ask, hey, are you walking close to Jesus this week or are you running ahead of him? Text me and ask me, hey, man, where are you at with Jesus right now? I'm like, I can't even see him, man. I've left him in my dust. And by the way, Jesus is faster than me. He's quicker, too. He's always like, what? Where are you going? Where are you going? What are you doing? What's up? You want to talk? No, I'm busy, Jesus. I've got something else to do. Whatever it is. This is just accountability, guys. That's all that is. And that's a scary word. It is a scary word for many people. But what you're doing is you're opening up your life to somebody. And I'm not saying you got to stand on a rooftop and yell it at everybody. Just find somebody or maybe a group of folks that you can just check in with each other and see how it's going. with the walk with Jesus, not ahead or behind him. So how do we apply this or connect it to the gospel? The ultimate heavy baggage we carry is our sin. Unconfessed sin, man, just is like, it weighs, feels like an eternity weight. It does. It just wreaks havoc on my own heart, you know? And my prayer is that sin, unconfessed sin in your heart just wears you out in the sense of, I'm ready to be done with it, Lord. I'm ready to turn it over to you. And that's where our shame and our brokenness will tell us, our shame will tell us, don't confess. Don't do that. Keep that. Keep this with you everywhere you go. Keep it everywhere you go. You've built this. This is yours. You've worked really hard to create this. Why would you want to give that up? Because I'm like the hunchback of Notre Dame, you know? I don't want that anymore. I don't want it. The same Jesus that offers us light, custom-made yoke is the same one that died on the cross for us, that went to war against and won against death in the resurrection, defeated death. And he's that wild stallion, right? But he's super powerful and he's strong and he can carry whatever you have. So if you're in the room and you're exhausted, you're stressed, and you're weighed down by life's demands, maybe it's guilt, you know, I call it the oppression hustle. A lot of us are hustling one way or the other. The oppression hustle. Jesus is not asking you to fix yourself. He's asking you to walk with him. Instead of relying on yourself, trust in him. Philippians, as we get ready to move into communion, Philippians 4:6-7 says, do not be anxious about anything, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be known to God. And the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. Replace your worry with trust. Replace your worry with trust. So if I was to kind of conclude that, I'd say, we're starting 12 weeks of summer. I know it feels like it already. Think about this Sunday as kind of like the airport check-in. Maybe your bag's not exploding, but you're standing kind of at that gate of a little bit of a new season, and this summer can look a lot different. So when you go to journey somewhere and you're with friends or family or both, you've found the capital R rest so that you can kind of hang out in peace in the lowercase r rest. Does that make sense? Yeah. It's like, let's do that instead of, I'm just going to leave my baggage here and then hope it's not there when I get home. By the way, it still is, and I took it with me.